Have you ever found yourself waking up around 3 a.m., just lying there in the quiet dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering, why now? Why does this keep happening? You're not alone. For so many people over 60, this has quietly become part of the nightly routine. You go to bed, fall asleep just fine, but like clockwork, you're wide awake a few hours later, often between 2:45 and 3:15 a.m., with no alarm, no noise, just that sudden alertness, almost like your body is trying to tell you something. And here's the truth, it probably is. In this video, we're diving into 5 powerful reasons why waking up at 3 a.m. happens so frequently as we age. These reasons go way deeper than just getting older or having a light sleeper label. Each one reveals something important about your body, your lifestyle, your health, and even your emotions. Some of them are physical, some are environmental, and some are emotional. Things we carry inside that show up when the world goes quiet. Stick around until the end, because once you understand why this keeps happening, you'll not only sleep better, you'll also begin to feel more in control, more informed, and more connected to what your body is actually asking for. Let's begin with the first reason. Reason number 1. Your melatonin is running out too early. One of the most common reasons seniors wake up in the middle of the night, especially around 3 a.m., is the natural decline of melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone your brain produces to help regulate your sleep-wake cycle. It's what helps you stay asleep, not just fall asleep. When you're young, your melatonin rhythm is strong. You release it after sunset, and it gradually fades in the morning, which keeps you in that deep sleep zone all night. But as we age, melatonin production gradually decreases. It's not that it disappears, it just starts earlier, ends earlier, and doesn't flow as steadily throughout the night. So while you may fall asleep fine around 9 o'clock or 10 p.m., by 2:30 or 3 a.m., your internal supply might already be tapering off. That's when the brain starts to come out of deep sleep. And if there's even a small trigger, like a creaking floor, a bit of light sneaking through the curtains, or just a full bladder, it doesn't take much to bring you fully awake. What makes this tricky is that it feels like you should still be tired. But your brain says, we're done. And you're left wondering why you're up before the sunrise with no plans and no energy. Take someone like Nancy, 69 years old. For most of her life, she slept like a rock. But lately, every night, she'd wake up around 3:15 a.m., mind alert, body still, and unable to fall back asleep. After doing a little research and experimenting, she made just a few changes, dimmed her lights an hour before bed, avoided screen time in the evenings, and added a walk just after dinner. Over time, her melatonin rhythm improved slightly. She still woke up early now and then, but it wasn't as jarring or frequent. That's the power of knowing what's happening. Once you understand that your body isn't broken, it's just shifting, you can stop blaming yourself and start supporting your natural rhythm. Keep your room as dark as possible. Even tiny bits of light, like from a hallway or the glow of your phone, can suppress melatonin. Try blackout curtains. Turn off digital clocks or anything that glows. And keep your routine consistent. Melatonin loves routine. All right, let's move to reason number 2, and this one's a big one. Reason number 2, your sleep schedule has quietly shifted. Have you noticed that you're starting to feel tired earlier in the evening than you used to? Like you used to be able to stay up and watch late-night TV, but now, by 8:30, your eyes are drooping? That's not just exhaustion. That's your internal body clock, your circadian rhythm, moving forward. It's a very normal part of aging, and it's called advanced sleep phase syndrome. Basically, your body has shifted its sleep window. You might feel sleepy at 8 o'clock or 9 p.m., fall asleep easily, and by 3 a.m., guess what? Your brain thinks it's morning. You didn't wake up too early. You finished your sleep. But because it's still dark and your day hasn't started, you feel out of sync. This change doesn't mean anything is wrong. It just means your sleep cycle has been gently reset. Think of it like daylight savings time, but stretched out across decades. And the tricky part is, it sneaks up on you. You don't notice it until it starts waking you up early, leaving you frustrated. Let's go back to this idea of advanced sleep phase. You might not even realize how your whole routine has shifted. Maybe you're eating dinner earlier, say 5 o'clock or 5:30 p.m., watching the evening news, and heading to bed around 8:30 without even thinking about it. That means your body starts its sleep cycle earlier and finishes it earlier. So when you wake up at 3 a.m., you're not dealing with insomnia. You're actually completing a full night of sleep based on your new schedule. Take a moment to think about someone like Marvin. He's 71 and recently retired. He used to stay up until midnight when he was working, but now he finds himself asleep before 9 p.m. each night. When he wakes up at 3:15 a.m., he's wide-eyed and confused. But once he realized his body had simply shifted its clock, he started changing a few small habits. He pushed dinner a bit later, added a walk after sunset, and started reading in bed with a soft amber light instead of heading straight to sleep. And what happened? He slowly began sleeping until 4:30 or even 5 a.m., which felt a lot more natural. Your circadian rhythm, the internal 24-hour clock that governs when you feel sleepy and when you feel awake, is sensitive to light, activity, food, and even social cues. And when you retire or stop having a rigid schedule, those cues fade. That's when the body begins to drift earlier without anything pushing it to stay in sync with the world around it. So what can you do? First, don't panic. Recognize the pattern. Then slowly introduce more evening activities. Maybe a call with a loved one after dinner, a warm shower later in the evening, or even some light housework while listening to music. These small tweaks act like signals to your brain, reminding it that the day isn't over yet. Over time, you might find that your sleep shifts back naturally, without pills, without pressure. Reason number 3, physical discomfort or medical interruptions. Now here's a big one, and often the most overlooked. Waking up at 3 a.m. may not be about your sleep cycle at all. It could be your body trying to manage physical discomfort or responding to subtle medical interruptions that become more noticeable at night. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive. That old knee injury might start throbbing. That stiff hip might not love being in one position for hours. Or maybe it's acid reflux that creeps up after dinner and silently disrupts your rest. Pain doesn't have to be sharp to wake you up. Even low-level discomfort, when repeated night after night, can jolt your brain out of deep sleep and into light wakefulness, especially when it happens during the early morning hours when your melatonin levels are already low. And then, of course, there's the bladder. Frequent nighttime urination, also called nocturia, is incredibly common in older adults. The bladder naturally becomes less elastic with age, and even a little bit of fluid can trigger that urgent sensation. Now, during the day, it's easy to ignore. You're moving around, you're distracted. But at 3 a.m., when everything is silent and still, that tiny nudge becomes a loud knock, forcing you out of bed. And once you've gotten up, gone to the bathroom, maybe turned on the light, maybe checked your phone, it's hard to fall back asleep. Your body has shifted out of rest mode. Take someone like Lorraine. She's 75 and used to think she had insomnia. But after speaking with her doctor, she discovered her blood pressure medication was acting like a diuretic, making her need to urinate more during the night. After changing her dosage schedule and adding a few habits like reducing liquid intake after 7 p.m., she began sleeping longer stretches again. There are other culprits, too: restless leg syndrome, nighttime cramps, temperature sensitivity, dry mouth, even acid reflux creeping up after a late snack. All of these can quietly chip away at your rest without you realizing they're the cause. And here's something most people miss: some medications, even over-the-counter ones, can subtly impact your sleep quality. They might increase wakefulness, trigger light sleep, or make you more sensitive to temperature changes or noise. So what can you do? First, track what's happening. Keep a simple sleep journal for a week. Write down when you eat, when you take your medications, what you did in the evening, and when you woke up. Sometimes just seeing the patterns can help connect the dots. Second, talk to your doctor. If you're waking up at the same time every night and you've ruled out emotional or lifestyle causes, it may be worth asking about your medications, hydration, or even underlying issues like sleep apnea. Sometimes the body is trying to say, "Hey, I need a little adjustment here." And if you listen early, you can avoid bigger problems down the line. Reason number 4, lifestyle habits that quietly shift your sleep rhythm. Let's talk about something subtle, but incredibly powerful: the way your daily routine slowly reshapes your sleep without you even noticing. Here's what usually happens. After retirement or a lifestyle change, most people start eating dinner earlier. You might have your meal around 5 o'clock or 5:30 p.m., maybe relax a little, watch TV, and by 8:30 or 9 p.m., your eyes are already heavy. That calm, early evening becomes the norm. Sounds peaceful, right? But here's the catch. These small changes add up. Your brain starts associating the quiet and dim environment with bedtime. And before you know it, your body's entire rhythm has shifted forward. You're falling asleep earlier and waking up earlier, too, usually right around 3 a.m. And since there's no external stimulation at that hour, no cars outside, no one texting, no background noise, your brain has no distractions. So if there's even the slightest trigger, you wake up fully. And once you're up, it's hard to go back down. Another part of this is movement, or the lack of it. If your days are too still, if you're not getting sunlight, physical activity, or mental stimulation, your body doesn't build up the same level of sleep pressure. That's the natural biological need for rest that builds up throughout the day. Less movement, less pressure. And when there's less pressure, sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. Take, for example, someone like Evelyn. She's 68, and she's been enjoying her retirement. But her days became quieter, less walking, fewer errands, and more time on the couch. She started having dinner earlier and taking little cat naps in the evening. Before long, she was waking up every morning at 2:45 a.m., wide awake and frustrated. Once she realized her routine had shifted her rhythm, she made some small but powerful changes. She added a short walk in the late afternoon, pushed dinner back to 6:30, and kept her evenings brighter and more active. Even something as simple as folding laundry or playing music while doing a puzzle. Within a week, her wake-up time started to shift, first to 3:30, then closer to 5 a.m. Her sleep felt deeper. And more importantly, she stopped blaming herself. Food timing plays a role too. If you eat dinner too early and don't have a small snack before bed, your blood sugar can drop overnight. That dip might not feel like hunger, but it can still cause your body to lightly wake up. The brain senses something's off, even if you don't notice a growling stomach. And again, because melatonin is already tapering off in the early morning hours, it doesn't take much to pull you fully awake. Another habit to watch: caffeine. Even if you only drink 1 cup of coffee at noon, it might be affecting your sleep more than you realize. As we get older, our metabolism slows down, meaning caffeine lingers in the body longer. It may not stop you from falling asleep, but it can absolutely affect the depth of your sleep. So now you're in a lighter sleep stage. Then that tiny discomfort, small drop in blood sugar, or bathroom urge becomes enough to wake you at, you guessed it, 3 a.m. Let's look at Robert, 73. He's active, eats well, and considers himself healthy. But for 6 months, he was waking up between 2:45 and 3:15 a.m. almost every night. After tracking his routine, he noticed he had dinner by 5 p.m., a light evening, and no snack before bed. He also enjoyed 2 cups of green tea daily, one at 10 a.m. and one around 2:30 p.m. Once he made a few changes, pushed his second cup of tea earlier, had a small protein snack around 8 p.m., and added a short walk at dusk, his sleep began to extend. He wasn't magically sleeping in until 9 a.m., but those 3 a.m. wake-ups became 4:30 or even 5:15. And that made a big difference in how he felt the next day. See, what we do with our evenings sets the tone for our sleep. Too much stillness, too little light, or too early a routine. These cues silently shift the brain's timing. You're not broken. You're just following a different map. So what's the takeaway? Your lifestyle, meals, movement, light exposure, and bedtime behaviors acts like a guidebook for your internal clock. And if you're waking up too early, you may just need to rewrite a few chapters. Now, let's talk about one of the deepest reasons of all, and it's one that has nothing to do with melatonin or bladder issues. Reason number 5, emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes, the reason we wake up at 3 a.m. isn't physical at all. It's emotional. It's psychological. It's what we carry quietly beneath the surface. In the stillness of night, when the world has gone quiet, your thoughts finally have room to speak. And what comes up in those early hours? Regret, worry, memories, unfinished conversations, loss. These aren't loud thoughts. They don't scream, but they hum in the background, just enough to pull you out of deep sleep and into reflection. For many older adults, this is especially common. You've lived through so much, raised families, worked hard, experienced love and grief. But during the day, we stay busy. We keep going. We distract ourselves. At night, though, when the world slows down, your mind has space. And it uses that space to sort, to process, to revisit moments that mattered. Take Linda. She's 78 and widowed. She's strong and social. But every night around 3 a.m., she wakes up, not in panic, but in a kind of quiet alertness. Her thoughts drift toward her late husband, or her grown kids, or moments from long ago. At first, she thought something was wrong with her sleep. But it wasn't her body, it was her heart, quietly speaking. Instead of fighting it, she started keeping a small notebook by her bed. If she woke up, she'd write down whatever she was thinking. No pressure, just reflection. And slowly, her wake-ups became less heavy. Sometimes, honoring the feeling is what helps you let go of it. What's powerful about these emotional wake-ups is that they're often misunderstood. People think they're broken, that something's wrong with their mind. But really, these early morning moments are invitations. Your mind is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's processing your life. It's trying to make meaning of everything you've lived through. And that doesn't always happen neatly between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. So rather than treating these moments as bad sleep, it may help to see them as part of a deeper process. You're not just trying to rest your body. You're also tending to your heart. And tending to the heart takes gentleness, not judgment. So what can you do? Try starting a calming bedtime ritual, something that signals to your mind that it's safe to slow down. That could be a short reflection in a journal, listening to soft instrumental music, or even writing a quick note to a loved one before bed. Some people find peace in prayer, others in reading poetry or looking at old family photos. Whatever it is, give your heart something to settle with, so it doesn't go searching in the dark. Let's take George. He's 80 and lives alone now. After years of waking at 3 a.m. with racing thoughts, he started using a technique called constructive rest. When he woke up, instead of forcing sleep, he simply stayed still and let his thoughts pass like clouds. He learned not to fight them, just acknowledge and release them. And over time, those thoughts stopped feeling so urgent. His sleep improved, and more importantly, so did his sense of peace. So let's bring it all together. If you've been waking up at 3 a.m. and wondering why, it's not random. It's not weakness. And it's not a sign that something is broken. It's your body and mind speaking to you. Maybe it's a drop in melatonin, a shift in your internal clock, a sign of physical discomfort, or a quiet emotion rising to the surface. Whatever the reason, it holds meaning. Instead of fighting those early wake-ups, begin to listen. Observe, reflect, adjust, shift your routines gently. Give your heart space to speak. Offer your body support instead of blame. And most of all, extend your self-compassion. Because this stage of life isn't about perfection. It's about understanding, wisdom, and self-awareness. And when you bring kindness to your sleep, you'll find that even the 3 a.m. hour can hold peace. Now, if you've made it this far and something in this video resonated with you, please let us know in the comments. Which reason felt most true to you? What will you try changing in your own routine? If you found this video helpful, we'd appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. Here at SageGrains, we're building a space where aging feels empowered, informed, and full of grace. Thanks for being here, and may your next night of sleep bring you comfort, clarity, and calm. See you in the next one.